from Brazil and lives in New York City.
He's a scout and an agent in one of the oldest agencies in New York.
He has been scouting and representing girls for more than 20 years.
And he's still eagerly looking for new talents and muses.
He's known and loved by many models for his uplifting energy and big heart.
Always smiling and always positive. Paulo Fernando Santos from Ford, New York.
Welcome, Paulo. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So how was your day today?
The day was great.
I think you always have great days.
I try.
Yes.
I try my best to only have great days because for me, it's all about positivity and energy.
And we can feel that.
And I try my best to only bring positive energy.
I met you, Paulo, 23 years ago, and every time I see you, your smile is there. How?
Because I think my goal in life is happiness. And that said, I try my best to be happy every day, you know.
But, I mean, you were always like that. I think it's part of your character.
Yeah, I remember when I saw you, because we were the different divisions, but whenever I saw you in the halls, and I was like, who's that guy? He's always smiling, he's always like, hi Vlada, and then amazing.
We were never at the same agency, we never worked together, but he represents some of my best buddies from a backstage era. And yeah, I met him in Paris long time ago. We never worked together, but we were always at the backstage, like
always together.
Yeah, always.
So even models who you never worked with are loving you. That's like something.
And I'm not the only one. Like I know a lot of models who know Paulo from backstage. He was never the agent of those girls,
but I was always there for you all.
Yes.
And I often say that are different types of agents, and I think a model needs both types. You have the agent who their main client will be the clients, and you have the agent like me who the main client is the model. So I am this agent that my main client, the ones who pays my bill are the models, you know. So that said, I build this type of relationship because we need to separate business, right? We always learn that we need to separate business to friendship, correct? But this is a business that is completely different than any other business. And somehow we become very close.
Family-like.
Family-like. And I will fight for the girls. I like to say that God made me gay because I had too many daughters. You know,
but it's amazing that you were like very supportive for girls who are not yours, like from competition, like competitors, agencies and stuff. You never made any difference between us.
No.
When we are in backstage, someone is hungry or
yes,
someone
exactly.
is ugly, Paulo will go not even asking like, what is your agent?
Yes, like,
why I'm doing this?
To the point that people will ask you girls like, is he your agent?
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Because again, first of all, you guys were friends of the girls that I represent. Sometimes we will share cars, drivers, right?
Yeah, right.
And for me, it was never a problem if I'm helping my girl, why not to help their friends as well? You know what I'm saying?
But that's rare. That's very rare. In our business, everyone is looking at each other at like competition, no?
And I think maybe that's what set me apart, because I know we live in a world of competition, but I never had this feeling. I never wanted, and I never saw myself competing with other agents. You know, I never approached the other girl that was not represented by me, thinking that I eventually would represent her, because I was never stealing girls. It was just like really something. First of all, I love what I do, and I think that's what it is. I love what I do, and if I love what I do, why not to do a little more helping the others, you know? I think that's what
amazing.
It is.
But let's talk now, let's go a little bit back. How did you start doing this?
What you love.
What you love,
Yes, I moved to New York year 2000, and with a bachelor degree in psychology, who I could not pursue because it's not a degree in Brazil is not valid in the US. Unfortunately, I did not have the money to go back to school because I do value education in school very much, but I didn't have like $30,000 a semester to go back to school. So that was not a chance. So I looked for jobs, and I have a friend who is still my best friend. At the time, he was a creative director at Ralph Lauren, and he called me one day saying that he had a friend who was a casting director, and the assistant will not be able to assist him that day. If I would take that job, he would pay me $150 for the day, and I was like, of course, I take it. I arrived at the job. The job was a casting for L'Oreal, and he handed me a list of modeling agencies and phone numbers, which I had to call, speak to an agent, and request girls to come to the casting. He immediately said, when you call Ford models, do not waste your English. There is a Brazilian agent there. His name is Luis. Now we know Luis Matos. And talk to him. So Ford Models, of course, was the first agency I called. Before requesting girls to attend casting, I asked Luis if they were hiring. He said to me, no, I just got here, so there is no position available, but I think you should call other agencies because there is a lot of Brazilian girls in town, and I believe they need someone who speaks Portuguese, the language. The day went by. On my way back home, I folded that little paper, I put it in my pocket, and the next day I started calling agencies. Most of the agencies that I called request me to send a resume.
Mm-hmm.
But
which you didn't have, I assume.
I had one, actually.
But not related to fashion.
To fashion. And that's why I believe very much in destiny, because it's a career that you don't go to university for. You need only someone that believes in you and see the potential on you and will make you become an agent. But the destiny comes when I call women management, and the owner, let's be real, they never pick up the phone, right? But that day he did. So I'm talking about Paul Rowland, who was the owner of women management, and when he arrived at work that day, at the time, we're talking 23 years ago, each model had 5 books because they had to send books through messengers to clients. So the agent would put together one book, which would be the personal book, but we had someone copying that personal book 5 times, And the girl who was doing this, when Paul arrived at the agency that day, said to him, or you hire someone to help me by Friday, or I quit because I cannot do this alone. Then I call, let's say 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, and he answers the phone on a time that, again, a lot of Brazilian girls were in town. He himself was going to Brazil often to scout, was in love with the city that I come from, Rio de Janeiro, and I remember I answered the phone. He answers the phone, and I said, hi, I introduced myself. My name is Paulo. I'm from Brazil. And immediately he said, from Brazil? I said, yeah. Where in Brazil? And I said, Rio de Janeiro. He goes, oh, Carioca. I said, yes, I'm a Carioca. I'm looking for a job. And he said, come here for an interview on Thursday. So I called Tuesday. Thursday, I went to the interview with him in the afternoon. And when we sat down, he asked me, so what would you like to do? And immediately I said, I want to be a booker. Why? I knew what a booker was.
Yeah.
My cousin and my muse and my best friend was a successful model in Brazil. And I'm the youngest, of the cousins. And she used to take me to the castings, to the jobs, to the agencies. She used to put together her book, because she never liked very much what the agent did. So she would change things around, and I was there watching. And so the modeling environment, it wasn't an environment that I never saw. It was actually very present in my life because of her. So I knew the terms, because what is a booker,
Yeah, of course.
So I said, I want to be a booker. And he asked me my resume, which I had one, but completely devoted to psychology. So I handled that resume. he reads and he goes, oh, but you don't have experience as a booker. And I said, no. And he was like, don't worry, I will make you a booker.
Wow.
What I'm going to pay you is going to allow you to live in New York City, you know. And I was hired to do the books, you know, which I think was a great way to start, because I believe that it's a school, and you need to pass through
foundation.
Yes, and the fact that I was going to magazine stores and taking magazines, looking through the magazines to see if I recognized a model, you know, represented by the agency, bring that magazine back, then cut the magazines, put the pages in the book. I think that was just like amazing, a great way to start in the business. But I also had ambition. I knew what I could contribute to the business, and I knew that São Paulo Fashion Week was approaching.
So let me ask you this. With your cousin, did you go to castings and jobs in Brazil?
In Brazil.
But never in New York?
Never in New York, but in Brazil, yes. But I knew São Paulo Fashion Week was approaching. I'm Brazilian, so I said, there is no one here better to go with him for São Paulo Fashion Week than me.
Brazilian, yeah.
And I started in November 17, 2000. And São Paulo Fashion Week was upcoming January, February. And I said, after the holidays, I said, you know what? I will be the one. But guess what? The new year comes. He hired someone to be his assistant and did not pick me to go to Brazil.
Mm.
But luckily to me, the person that he hired did not perform a good job down there. And as soon as they got back, he said, you, to the guy that he hired, are now going to be doing the books. And Paulo, you're going to be my assistant. And I think that became when I really learned, because I was with Paul like 24/7, and he is an artist. He is someone who knows.
He's a visionary.
Yes. And like one thing that I do today quite often, every day, I'm the one taking digitals. And from who do I learn to take digitals from? You know, I mean, I'm not a photographer. I don't understand anything about lighting. But somehow, and I know, I'm not full of myself, but I know that I take a very good digital. I make you girls look beautiful on my digital. And the girls ask me, oh my God, those are the best digitals of my life. How do you do that? And I said, I don't know, you know, it was just watching Paul taking.
Yeah, but all this time that you spent at the magazine stores watching girls and magazines and all this picture probably stayed subconscious behind. You know, what is good looking.
Yeah, because first of all, I love beauty, you know, and I love to make the girls look even prettier than they are. And when they see the pictures and they go like, oh my God, is that me? I said, yeah, is that you?
So let's book Paulo for digital.
You should actually, immediately, because it's funny, because I like, in the process of digitals, and you guys know that, usually the person taking the digitals doesn't show you girls.
Of course.
They take it and buy. I do completely different. I believe in teamwork, and I always say that a model, because nowadays, let's be real, what does sell the model? The digitals.
Yeah.
And
Polaroids.
Yes. And the digital, just like a picture in a model's book. I always say that if I put together a book, but there is one picture there that the model really hates, as much as I love, I need to take in consideration, because at the end of the day, it's the model who is at the casting, and it's the model who is handling the book or the iPad nowadays to the client. If there is in that book a picture that the model really doesn't like it, the confidence on that casting is not going to be the same, because she's going to be handling the book like, you know, like
knowing that there is
something that she doesn't like. So again, for me, it's all about teamwork.
So let me ask you, when you choose the photos for the book,
okay,
how do you pick? Like Vlada, she has like 1,000 photos. How do you pick 24?
So you want to know how I picked 24?
I guess everyone wants to know them.
Another process that I learned with Paul and John. You remember John?
Of course.
Both of my mentors, because I love John Genier, and I will never forget because we used to put on the floor the 20,000 pictures that Vlada has, like we used to put like everything on the floor together, and a book needs to tell a story.
Yes.
You cannot put like no sense pictures from the first to the end, like has to have a flow. And to have the flow, you need to see those pictures, that's nowadays the computer,
AI will do the flow soon.
Yes, oblige us to do it through the computer, which I don't think is the same. I love when I had like the magazines and I will put on the floor and we start here. And from here, where do you go? You need to tell a story. It has a flow, color coordination, everything together, to do a book I love doing books.
And you learned that with Paul.
Yes, and John.
And John. Now, girls don't use books anymore, right? They go with iPads.
Yes, as much as I'm old school, so I still like to I give the book to the girl because I find it so beautiful. I love the concept, and we have beautiful books here at Ford, and if she wants to take the iPad, I have just to accept it, but she has a Ford Models book with her because I believe it's magical.
To me, it seems more professional to have a book than
Yes.
I agree.
Because I feel like, what's the purpose of me bringing an iPad when
they can see themselves on the computer?
Exactly, because it looks different on the paper than it does on
the book has the original pictures.
Exactly.
You see it's real.
It's printed.
Yes. I love it. I really love it. It's when I say I'm old school.
We're old school too, we do.
And we remember Polaroids instead of digitals.
Exactly. Which I have home like a pile of Polaroids of you. I have Polaroids of you.
Yeah,
yes.
I hate Polaroids from that time back then. Now I'm doing much better with the Polaroid. But what I wanted to say is we met so long ago and you were part at Women. And you started with Paul.
Yeah.
And now you're at Ford. Yeah. And you're again working with Paul.
Exactly.
So let's go back to time when you started with him. So he made you a booker.
Exactly.
Like booker and agent is the same thing.
The same thing.
So what is a scout?
A scout is the person who finds the model and brings the model to the agency for the agents to approve if that model is right for them or not.
Okay, and you're doing that too?
Yes, because again, once Paul told me in the interview, I will make you a booker, there were times that I was still his assistant and I would come to him and I would say, but you told me I was going to be a booker. And he would say, it's not the time. You're not ready, And as a process of becoming a booker, he decided to send me on a scouting trip. And
to where?
First scout trip was Scandinavia. I went to Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland. And on my way back to New York, I stopped in Holland, Belgium, and then back to New York. And that particular trip was very successful. And
was it the first time for you to go to that region?
To Scandinavia, yes.
And for how long did you go for?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Belgium, no, because I finished high school in Belgium. So I have been to Belgium before. And Holland on vacation when I lived in Belgium. But for work was the first time. And Scandinavia completely the first time. And the trip was very successful.
Were you alone?
I was alone.
What does it mean successful?
So the first scout trip was very successful. I went from New York to Copenhagen. And in Denmark, I scouted with the agency that she was represented, a girl, I don't know if you guys remember, called Louise Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then from Denmark, I went to Sweden. And in Sweden, in Stockholm, I scouted Caroline W. Then from Sweden, I go to Norway. And in Norway, I scouted Iselin.
Wow. That's all in the same trip.
The same trip,
yeah.
Then Finland, unfortunately, nobody. On the way back in Holland, Betty Frank and Kim Norda, but they decided later to go to another
London.
agency, not with women. But those two were also part of that trip. So when I got back to New York with those girls, they were like, oh my God, you have the eye, because, you know, Louise Peterson arrived, they sent her to see Mario Testino, and next thing she's opening the Gucci show, and she got the Gucci campaign. Actually, they were fighting, was between Gucci and Prada to see which campaign she would do it, and agents and Paul decided for her to do Gucci.
Wow.
Then we waited a year because Caroline Darby was still in school. But again, another girl that came really did really well. And Iselim, I don't need to tell you because she's still you know, current, doing amazing. So then
you passed the test.
I passed the test, and then they decided to make me the head of scouting. And then I did more trips. I scouted other girls, but I have to say that first trip was the trip, because it was too many girls in one single
shot. Yeah.
Yes.
And how was that process? Did you had to go to local agencies there, and
Exactly,
they organized?
Exactly. Like you go to the city, you know, and before you set up appointments at the local agencies. And when you arrive at the local agencies, they show models that are available to travel and to come to New York. And from that, the many that they showed you, you decide which one you want to see. And then you bring the next day, and then you take Polaroids, digitals, and you send the digitals to New York, you know, because New York is also like, so did you find anyone? Did you find? They're curious to see how the trip is going. And some of them you need to convince, because you know, it's also part of the scouting. The scouter is like, it's not always that the New York team will believe on what you're seeing over there. And it's your job to say, trust me, she's good, she's amazing, I'm telling you, you know.
But you also have to convince girls.
Sorry?
You also have to convince girls.
Yes.
And your agency there. So it's like...
But I feel like when you go to an agency there, you don't really have to convince girls too much. I mean, because if they come in for casting for you, they know that you're representing.
Exactly. It's just that sometimes there are girls, which is rare, honestly, girls that doesn't want to come to New York, you know. But usually the girls, they want to come to New York. Yeah.
But how about when you, for example, walking on the street and you see this gorgeous girl who you
I have an amazing example.
Yeah.
It was, I would say, not that long ago. Again, in my history as an agent, I worked pretty much in only two agencies, which is Women, Supreme, which is part of Women, and Ford. I was back and forth, you know. So I worked at Women. Once I became a junior booker, because Paul eventually had to say, now you're ready to be a booker. Not long after
How long after the...
3 years. It took me 3 years to become a junior booker. And once I became a junior booker, right after I got the offer to come to Ford Models. I worked at Ford Models for 7 years. And then I actually went back to Women, but now this time at Supreme, because Paul and his team were coming to Ford. So it was pretty much when we say in the business that we swapped teams, you know, like because Paul left Supreme and came to direct Ford Models with his team. And myself and my team, we went to Supreme, you know, and we worked there. I worked there for 6 years. And then I came back to Ford Models. And when I came back to Ford Models, it was my 4th day working here. And I started on a Wednesday. So I had in between the weekend, and on the weekend, eating caramel from London, actually, my tooth filling fall off, and I had to make an appointment, and the appointment was on Monday. And a little annoying because you just started and you need to take time off to go to a dentist appointment. But I remember saying to my team here, look, this happened to me over the weekend. I have an appointment. It's 3 o'clock. Quite honestly to you guys, my dentist is quite slow. I really don't think I will be back. Taking a little bit of advantage of going home after. So right before my appointment, I called my boyfriend at the time, and a German boyfriend, who asked me out of the blue, "Are you planning to go back to the office?" And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Nothing, just because I think you should. You just started not long ago." So he planted the guilty seed, which I hate. I hate this feeling. And that day, believe it or not, the dentist was super fast. So I am walking back from the dentist here, and I'm talking to my friend on the phone and telling him, "Just so you know, I am walking back, blah, blah, blah." And I see a girl passing by. And with him on the phone, I say, "Look, I see this girl. She could be a model. Do you think I should stop her?" And he said, "Of course, it's your duty." So I hang up the phone. I cross the street and I go, "Hey." And she turned back and I say, "Are you a model?" And she says to me, "Yes, I am." And I ask her, "Really? Which agency?" And she says, "I don't have one." And I'm a little confused, like, you're a model, but you don't have an agency, and I said, "Really, because I am an agent." She asked me, "Which agency?" And I say, "I'm with Ford Models." And she says, "Ford Models, I don't know. I don't think Ford on top of their game right now." Like this, really. She had a bit of an attitude. And I said, "What are you talking about? I actually just came from women management." And she goes, "Women management? Ooh. Actually, I just left them." And I said, "What are you talking about? What are you saying?" She goes, "I took the day to knock doors, meaning without an appointment, go to an agency." And please, nobody does that, because it's just not
not professional.
No, and you go, the chances of you not seeing anybody are much higher than you seeing a person. So she does that, and I said, "So what happened?" She goes, "Oh, I saw a lady like this, and the lady said that I was not right for them." And I look at her and I said, "Wait a second. You just got a no as an answer, and you're telling me that you're not going to come with me? You're coming with me to Ford Models right now." So I from the dentist, I arrived back here with a girl.
With a catch.
And then I explained to my coworkers what's happening, and they all came to meet the girl, and they love the girl. Her name is Teresa Hayes. She's an African-American model that her first job was Louis Vuitton show. She flew from New York she met the casting director, and the casting director introduced her to the designer, to Nicolas, and they flew her to Paris to meet him, and he liked her, and she booked the show, and she booked the campaign, and then the following season she books the show again, and she books the campaign again, and she's working with an amazing team of people, and that was her first job. And I remember before she was going to catch the airplane to go to Paris, I remember telling her exactly how she should walk, because I know the designer from when he was at Balenciaga, and I know, for example, that Nicolas doesn't like when the model shakes the hip very much, so I was telling her to be like more as a soldier, and practicing with her. So I think it worked well, because she arrived in Paris, she walked the way I told her. She
booked it.
And she booked, yeah.
So you are good at teaching them how to walk too?
Very good.
Very good, very good. He booked Louis Vuitton, right? Do you tease her now about her attitude? Ford is not on top of the game now?
Yes.
Are we on the top of the game now, girl?
Of course.
Paulo, do you remember your first job that you booked for a girl as a booker?
The first job, I don't remember. But I remember like jobs that made me very happy. And I have to say, it's a job that most of the girls that I know and I met was their dream job to do, which is Victoria's Secret show. Mm-hmm. So every time that I got a girl confirmed for the Victoria's Secret show, there was a job that made me absolutely happy. And I have
because girls will be...
Yes. Yeah. And I have actually an amazing story. I am now at Supreme, and I'm handling a girl called Maria Borges. Mm-hmm. And Maria was doing well because she did well during the shows. You know, Ricardo Tisci was the first one to really use her and like her. And ends up that Maria gets confirmed for the Givenchy campaign with Ines and Vlada shooting in LA. But at the same time, I'm promoting Maria for Victoria's Secret show, which she also gets confirmed. But then we have a problem. And what is the problem? The Givenchy campaign is shooting in LA, as I told you guys, on a Wednesday, okay? And the Victoria's Secret show is being recorded in New York on the Tuesday before. And the last flight from New York to LA leaves around 9:30 p.m., which the last recording Victoria's Secret show is at 8 o'clock. Let's be real, she would finish by 9. And even if we get a helicopter, she will not be at JFK with time to catch that flight. So the bookers at the time said, look, Givenchy, because Givenchy, you know, she has to do the Givenchy campaign. Don't worry, she's going to...
So you're at the position where you have to choose which job she is going to do.
Exactly.
Both huge jobs.
Yeah.
Do you ask, girl, does she know? Or your guys doing this behind
yes,
the
because
door?
that's also another thing about me as an agent that's how I operate. I cannot choose a job for the model that I represent, not communicating with her. For me, it's all about communication, because at the end of the day, if my view for that model is Prada, but her dream is to be in Sport Illustrated, I need somehow to realize her dream. You know, I can explain to her why she should be doing Prada, Versace, you know, Louis Vuitton. But if she is the type of model who wants to go in a more commercial direction, I need to understand. So communication for me is super important. I don't like it when agents take decisions on jobs for models not communicating with the talent. Because at the end of the day, I don't know, money-wise, the situation that the talent is living at the moment. And sometimes she needs that money, you know, and I don't like saying no without it, because at the end of the day, it's her career. It's their career. You know what I'm saying? So I think teamwork is very important, and I think the talent has to be part of it. So I immediately spoke to the talent, which understood that she had to do the Givenchy campaign, but also wants to realize her dream, which is every model, you know, dream, to work for Victoria's Secret. Paulo, please, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? I want to do both. I want to do both. And I said, babe, wait.
Private jet.
I sit down and I say, wait a second. There is a possibility for her to do both. How? I can hire a private plane.
Yeah.
Yay!
But she's a new face. She doesn't have yet the amount of money that requires to hire a private plane.
But she will.
Oh, yes. Yes, because I did everything I could.
Yeah.
I got a private plane. I got a deal on a private plane. I had, who you know really well, Dayan, the owner, calling me prior and telling me, what are you trying to do? Are you crazy? Are you sick of your mind? Do you know how much costs a private plane? And I say, how much? Yes. How much? When I gave him the amount, he was like, you're kidding. This is impossible. Paulo, let me tell you something. If she misses the Givenchy campaign, not you, but your entire team are fired. So then I had my director at the time coming to me, Paulo, forget about it. You know, she has to. And I said, no. She's going to do both. So she gets confirmed for Victoria's Secret. Then I booked her to do 1 day of makeup tests for Victoria's Secret, which is an extra money to help with the airplane. I got an amazing deal with the airplane, and now I need to go to the CFO to get the approval because she doesn't have the money yet. And I said to him at the time, I said, look, trust me. If she does that show
So the agency has to advance the money for girls, and there are so many people you have to convince that she's the right.
Yes. So I came to the CFO and I said, "Look, trust me. I give you my word that if she does that show within 1 month, she's paying back this money that you're gonna, land for her to hire the private plan." And he accepted. I put my name, on the table. I said, if doesn't, I will find a way to pay you guys myself. And ends up that she does the Victoria's Secret show. I actually, after the second record was done, I made her stop at the red carpet on the way to the airport, okay? She took the pictures on the red carpet that she needed to, and then went to the airport, took the private plane, arrived in LA, shot Givenchy campaign, and was able to do both jobs. And I have to say, she is thankful to me for that until today, because she did, I think, a total of 6 Victoria's Secret shows, and that was the first time. I remember as well my co-workers the day after when I came to the office, "Oh, congratulations, thank you," which I love, because it's funny how they can be so not on par, but then when you achieve the success, again, for me it's all about sharing, so I was actually so happy that she was able to do both jobs there.
So, did you find her, or you were just her agent?
I was just her agent.
That's right. I mean, that's an amazing story. I mean, even now that he's talking about the story after so many years pass, he still has that feeling. I can imagine him working, making that happen, because it's your dream too. I mean, but you know that you're fulfilling girls' dreams.
Yes.
But isn't it also sometimes you see a girl and you sort of have this feeling that she is a star, like she will get there.
Yes.
Like you just know it, right?
Yes. I don't know what to explain, because again, the beauty on a model is not only the outside beauty. You need to have something that comes from the inside, that I often say that you're born with it. And that is with models and as well with agents.
So what do you think, what are the 3 most important skills for the agent to have to be a good agent?
A good eye.
Good eye.
Patient.
Why patience?
Tell us about it.
Because we're dealing with girls, young girls, who still are in a process of development of their personality. It is a business, as we spoke in the beginning, that competition is part of, models sharing the same model's apartment. Sometimes I'm competing for the same job, and the same job means one spot. And sometimes that other girl became your best friend. And you and your best friend are competing for the same job, and this is not easy. It's not easy to handle, and it's actually very difficult, because let's be real, they both want the job.
Of course.
In a horror movie, in a drama movie, we would see one actually killing the other for it, But again, you build a beautiful friendship. How many friends you have, you both have, that you got the job, other times they got the job, I think actually it's beautiful what I see today, because now I am in the curve division. And what I found very interesting with the curve is that somehow it's a community that each one of them celebrates the achievement of the other in a different way.
Yeah, because together they had to fight for the spot to have them accepted in a model's world.
Yes.
So they were first a team to make that happen, for everyone's dream to be fulfilled, and then they continue. But for us, we were competition from the
beginning. Yes.
And Paolo, you said that the age, so you need patience because of the age of the girls. And how do you feel? Because I remember back then, girls were so young, sometimes like even 14 years old, right? And did it change now?
Yes, and I'm very happy that changed. And I will always be thankful to American Vogue and Anna Wintour to set up, not a law, but to stipulate that in New York Fashion Week, models under the age of 18 not allowed. And I value so much because in the past I myself have brought from Brazil girls at age 13, 14, you know, when they're not ready to be doing, let's say, any type of job. And what I see today, and I am very against, and I don't regret, because regret is something that I don't have inside my body. I hate to regret. But it was just a time. I had to follow what the market was requesting at the time.
Circumstances.
But to bring a girl at age 14, when she has not developed yet to be a woman, but then when she goes on set, we dress her as a woman. Exactly. You know, the outfits that she's wearing, it's not for a 14-year-old, it's for a woman, you know. And at the time, not today, but even putting a cigarette in their hands, you know, and a glass of alcohol, and everything that environment, you know, is capable to provide, that it's not, in my point of view, for a girl, for a teenage girl. And I believe in psychology, we say that it's very important for us human beings to live past the phases and live those phases well. So when you take a girl, a teenage girl, and sometimes even like, which I saw cases of girls that were very young mentally, you know, I had girls that they were playing with Barbies, you know, still. And we make them become women, and they don't leave appropriately. The phase is when later in life the human being can have issues, you know. It's when the girl realizes that she missed a very important period of their life, and one thing we know is that we cannot go back, you know, and can cause frustration, and from there certain issues that is just
I, for example, were sometimes sad about that I missed the university years, like college years. Like I didn't have that camp, like where I can hang out with my friends. I mean, we did hang out as in the backstage. Thank God, it was like model camp, right? Yeah. But when I was going back to my city, I was like, oh, they actually have this
memories,
like young life, right? And we were adults,
and that creates like a hole, you know, like on the ones that didn't have it. And if you don't know how to accept that, can be an issue that, you know, can become.
But why do you think that was a thing for agencies to take such young girls, like 14 years old, as a baby?
I think it was the market, you know, and again, the competition. When we talk about, for example, Brazilian girls, one of the reasons was that if I don't take it, my competitor will. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I better take it, because at the end of the day, for a lot of Brazilian girls and Russian girls, you know, with the financial situation they had back home, this was the opportunity, not only for that girl, but for the entire family. Yeah. You know, to succeed financially. You know, I'm also against of like one person in the family being responsible for the entire family, especially when it comes to like a person that is underage. But that happened often when we talk in Brazil, Russia, you know, like the parents saw the possibility of that daughter to be the one who is going to bring the money back home.
It's same with athletes.
Yeah. And I remember, like nowadays, when clients request a girl, do they ask about her age? Is it important to them now? Because I remember back then, some of the girls were lying about their age, making it less than
exactly. And
which I find ridiculous.
Ridiculous, and I find ridiculous today. I think changed. I actually often I see girls, because, you know, I am, let's say there is a girl coming for us to to meet and see if we want to represent, and age is part of the questions.
Yeah.
It's pretty much your name, where you come from, how old are you?
But also, it's important to know how old is she, will she grow taller, wider, if she's younger, what are the possibilities?
But when you go to meet a client,
he's talking about the agency,
So
for them, it's very important to know. But
they're in
why
the family,
for the client?
they have to know you.
But, for example, I see often girls when they, even in their 20s, when I ask their age, the way they answer is a little bit like, and the girl will be like, I'm 27.
And you look amazing.
And I'm
proud of it.
I go, can you please, I am 27, but proud I am 27, because has changed, because we don't start so young. Education is, especially for the company that I work for models, education is priority for us. We value a girl that goes to college. We encourage our girls to go to college. We work around college. We say that's possible, and if the girl is going to college and finishing college, she's not going to start, her full-time career as a model at age 18, because of course she has college. So, but there are ways nowadays to do both, And I always say, and I always tell the girls that they should go to college, because it's very important to me, at least, is you need to have the option B. We don't have a crystal ball. And as much as I believe, and as much as you're gorgeous, and like when everyone that looks at you sees the potential of you become a successful model, we don't know. We have examples of friends that we have that are stunning and somehow did not succeed in the business like others. And for me, education is so important, because we'll give you the possibility of doing something else, and as well because I think you are a better model if you have education. Because if you go to a photo shoot and let's say the photo shoot is inspired in the 60s, you need to know what the 60s was, and you're traveling and you're going to another country, you need to know the capital of that country. Or,
something.
Something. So education for me is very important, and it's something that I value and I encourage the girls to pursue.
And how is it now with the clients? Do they...
Age-wise, I don't think honestly, it is like was before.
It was
yes, to the point, like, for example, how often we hear like a person that is not in the business, and they think that the life of the career of a model, it's not long, that, at age 30, 40, this is over. And we know today that is not over. Yeah. Believe you girls or not, we just signed the other day, ex-Ford models from the 60s. And I was walking, excuse me, and I see that woman coming to maybe just like the other knock doors, and I look at her, and she is so interesting, and she's so gorgeous, and she is a successful businesswoman who was a model in the past, but now is writing a book and wants somehow to pursue modeling because the book has some relation with, and she wants really to be in the business. So we'll help her to write better the book that she's writing. And I have to say, when I saw her, I was like, oh my God, this woman is insane. I invite my director immediately. My director sat down and started talking to her. And I'm talking to a woman who is over 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? So in the past, people would think that I'm crazy, Now I have a new face. Let's call her a new face at that age.
Amazing. It's so inspiring.
Right?
Yeah, the market now is open to different age
sizes and age. Yeah. And for me, that's what it's about today. And that's why I am today with the Curve Division. I wanted to be with the Curve Division. It was something that I asked for.
And that division is new too. How old is Curve Division at Ford?
the curve division at Sephora was the first one to have at the time a plus division.
Yes, it was plus size. Yeah,
it was plus size. Today it's not plus. Today it's called curve because size is just a number. You know, we represent women different sizes.
Yeah.
You know, what I like to say curve is because to be a curve, you need to have curve. You know. And there is a shape, there is a body shape. It's not that at the end of the day, we cannot launch anybody we want to be models.
Course,
because it's something that or you have or you're born to be or you're not. And not. I often say, growing up, I really want to be a doctor. But chemistry was my worst subject. I cannot be a doctor. And it's just like modeling. I mean, as much as sometimes there are girls and boys who want to be, if you don't have what it takes to be, you just accept
what it takes to be a model.
For you, from your perspective.
Proportions. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to say to you, height. In the world that we live in today, mm-hmm. where we're trying to include, I say proportions. Mm-hmm. There is a specific shape, you know, which I call proportions of a body that person needs to have to try to be a model. You know what I'm saying? So for example, if the person has a body, let's say we have a girl that is not 5'9", not 5'10", but she's 5'7.5". But her proportions somehow, when you look at her, you don't even see
it pleases the eyes.
That she is 5'7.5". She could easily be a 5'9" like the others because her body proportions are right.
But we had Bianca Balti. Everyone told her that she's just way too short, right?
I never saw her as a short.
Me neither. Me neither. But when someone mentioned that, I was looking at her and I'm like, yeah, she's not tall as us. But I know her for 3 years and I never, yes.
Oh wow!
And look at her. Yeah, her career is amazing. She's Bianca Balti, but she was one of the models who didn't have 5'9".
I have also another example. I was at Women Milan, which you girls know really well. Yeah. By the way, I love them. My family, Women Milan, Barbara, you know, Vincenzo.
Have the same birthday.
You know, Christina. I mean, I love that team very much. And they were doing a cast.
We're going to go to Milan and we will talk to them.
Please. They were doing a casting for us New York agents to see the girls that were there doing the shows in Milan, to see if there is anyone that we want to bring to New York. And we're doing the casting. And out of the blue, I see a girl who was not invited to attend the casting. But somehow I saw her because the hair, the curly hair, you know, she's not 5'9". Her name is Chiara Chelsea, and she is half Brazilian, half Italian. She was the first girl to walk for Lagerfeld and Chanel with the curly hair not long ago. And she was the one, I think, who brought that...
edginess.
Yes, like because... most of the time, curly hair was not accepted also in the business, right? We lived that time that, you know, for the African American girls, they had to have this straight hair, you know, for the Latin girls also, there was always straight hair. And Lagerfeld put on the runway this girl who was not 5'9", you know, she's what, 5'7", you know, but with this curly hair, so beautiful, and a trend from that show came after, because was when the business really accepts to the point that nowadays all we see is a lot of curly hair.
Yeah, but I think we also have to point it out that, okay, 5'9" is a standard, right? She wasn't 5'9", but she had something in there.
Yeah.
So it is 5'9", but it's also something on top.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she had probably that on top, over the top.
Correct, including the hair, because she was like, the hair also adds a little bit of height, right? Like,
yeah. But also like she has something inside of her that brings everything aside and being not important, like all these formulas.
Yeah, and again, it's the presence, it's the energy.
It's
At
the
the
energy.
end of the day comes to energy.
So she was born to be a model.
Exactly, because for example, she did not
By
have
standard.
the casting that day. She was at the agency to do something else, you know? But her energy caught my attention to the point that when I look to the side, I see that girl and I immediately come to the book and say, who is she? I want to see her. And she came. We the same season, we flew her from Milan to Paris. The team from Women Paris, Osana, also fall in love with her. She was introduced to the casting director of Stella McCartney, which she got it. And as well, Chanel. You know what I'm saying? So
it was waiting for her.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. But we had a list of questions that we wanted to ask, and one of the questions was how important for girl career, for girl in general, is to have a good agent. This is the answer. Like, if you have an agent who knows that even those 2 inches can be overruled.
Exactly. I often say that the most important thing for a model is to have a team or agents that, first of all, believe in her. I often say it doesn't matter the name of the agency. What matters is if your agents believe in you. Because if the agents believe, they will sell.
That was my formula to pick the agency when I was working. Like, if I see in the agent who is talking to me something, then he can be from the agency called whatever. That was my agent.
Yeah, I agree, because that's what the model needs, is the person who believes.
But that was my intuition. It wasn't really...
Who will pick up the phone, still pick up the phone, and promote and sell to the clients with passion. You know, because you need to make the client believe that what you're showing is what is the next big thing.
So let's talk about this side now. So we spoke about you being an agent for girls, but let's talk about you and clients, that part of the job, because you on every day, you're working both sides. Like
in my case, mostly were show clients, because I was made during the shows as an agent, going backstage with your girls, and I built relationships with casting directors that were doing shows. So my biggest clients were show clients.
Okay, and let's talk now about that process. So you got a girl on the street or whatever, she's new in the agency. Do you know right away who you're gonna call?
Yes.
Who will like her?
Yes, not right away, but let's say I would call first the house that the casting director works for, that I see will like a model with that features. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Did you have a moment where you know that she's right for them, but they said no and you have to convince them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, often actually, you know, and you need sometimes to make them understand that what you're seeing is the truth. Just follow my thoughts, and I'm sure your client, because at the end of the day, the casting director also has to please the client.
Yeah.
At the end, the client will be very happy.
But it's hard work.
I think hard work is the job of a model, because I say you girls need to pass so many doors for the final product.
Yeah.
For you guys walking Prada, okay? How many cases we know of girls that were in the lineup
and they
to walk, and somehow
they cancel the look.
When she's already standing, she's the next one. I know cases of girls that they were like, you know what, I'm gonna go, and she started walking, you know.
Yes.
You canceled my look, but I'm walking. Oh my God. I would like to talk to that girl. Can we have her contact?
Did she ever work with them again?
Probably no. Who was the casting director?
Let's
not say names.
You're gonna tell us later. I want to know.
But again, not my girl, but I heard there was a girl that she was like about to. The look got canceled, and she's the next one. And I think she played dumb, and she just like when.
She's very smart. She's my girl. But imagine.
I mean, what's there to lose now?
Yeah, because again, you know how much I think the world doesn't know.
They don't know. That's why this is the idea for this podcast, because people have no idea. Even the models don't know how some of other models got there,
And I'm loving doing this because if I can contribute for the world to know, first of all, that is not an easy job, okay? That is not only glam. And it's really hard work. And to achieve the goal, is just...
so many obstacles.
Yes. And as I said, you need to pass many doors. The first door, to be accepted by an agency.
Yes.
Right? Then once you're accepted by the agency, let's talk about shows. We are going to introduce you to the casting director. So casting director, you need to please.
Another door.
And then it's another door. Then the casting director is going to introduce you to the stylist. Right? Then you need to pass the door, stylist door. Then the designer of the house. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. For one job.
For shows. And then if we're talking about campaigns,
there's even more because you have the creative director. And so it's not easy. And it's
everyday process. And there is a competition as well. And there is a time that you're fighting.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah.
How is your day looking? Like working day? You receive tons of emails.
A lot of scouting, because the process of
Sorry, how many girls you manage now today at Curve Decision?
We don't here. If for example, I manage everyone that is in the Curve division.
Oh, okay.
We're not divided by those.
Back there,
and there are agencies that still work that way. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, I like more being able to work with all, because also the agency needs to be careful, because just like models, we agents also, we move around, and the agency doesn't want to lose the model if, the agent, how it is.
Yeah.
So the day is, in my case, I'm super involved with development. So I am a developer booker. I get the girl when she still don't know how to model, or she still are not a model. It's teaching her how to move. It's teaching her how to walk, how to dress, how to act in front of a client. Like, the process of development is what I like most. That's where I saw myself best doing, is finding, making, and when you guys becomes diva, the other one can handle.
Paulo,
divas are two other.
Paulo, are there any secrets that you can tell us how you develop models? Like, what are you watching any videos, looking at the magazines from the past?
I like to show videos, especially when it comes time to show.
Whose video you are showing for a walk?
Actually, lately it's a Celine show that I just loved. Was in a beautiful location of course, in France. And not only I love the looks, I just love how looks and walk go so well together, because you need to look like, let's say, like this expensive woman or this expensive business woman walking to work, nothing too much. Mm-hmm. It's so relaxed, but that is a walk. But at the same time, it's like I would like to see every woman walking to go to catch the taxi, or to, like you and Flavia was running in heels, taxi in New York, like.
Me and Flavia, we did a lot of things.
And do you think for a model to be considered a good model, she should be able to change her walk from client to client, or she has to have her signature walk? And which makes her...
I think at the end of the day, we need to please the house and the client. So I would say there would be I mean, I know you can have your signature. You have a signature walk. You know that. How many
But it's
times?
been changed through
Yeah, but for
years,
example, we knew that you were coming, Vlada. We knew, like, how many times at the agency, me and Maddie were walking like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and every time that, for example, Maddie would come with that particular walk,
you know,
everyone would know, Vlada!
Kasia, Natasha.
Maria Carla. Remember when Maria Carla used to do like a little, like, so I think it's important to have your signature walk, but at the end of the day, we need to please who is paying you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
course,
saying?
yeah.
And the client.
And the vibe, like you have clients who are asking for particular vibe, all the girls to walk their way, but to have a vibe, smile, no smile, serious, strong.
We always say like a Versace walk, right?
Yeah.
Even Versace walk, I remember with them having stylists changed, they asked us to change the walk. So I remember walking like Versace, and then stylists have changed and they were like, be straight. And I was like, oh, so it's not Versace.
So I think a model should know how to handle a pair of heels. That's the secret, you know, because it's not easy. No. Myself, I can walk amazingly in my sneakers, okay? But give me a pair of heels, it's not going to look the same. So I see how difficult it is to balance the body on that particular type of shoes. But once you know how to handle a pair of high heels, you can do the cha-cha walk, you can do the soldier walk, and I think that's what a model should know today, is to please the client. Of course, she's going to have her signature walk in a way. Like, remember when Jessica Stem used to do the head to the side? You know, there will always be something that will be you, even if you do the cha-cha or even if you do the more soldier, boyish walk. But it's a question of knowing how to walk in heels. I think that's what it is most for me.
Okay, so then what else do you do with girls to develop them? Like for like magazines, like to.
I always show magazines, and I tell them to go to magazine stores and look through, because that's also how you know you learn styling. It's very important, in our business to know how to dress, and because clients who saw you as a new face, the following season, they watching to see how you improved. And showing styling, the way you dress, it's a way that you show those clients how you improved, right? It's important. And I think through magazines is when you know that this bag with those shoes, that skirt with that blouse, that there are certain things that you just cannot mix match, and it's important to know styling when you're a model.
Do you still advise girls to go to casting black jeans and black tank top?
Not black, but let's say basic. Because it's better basic than overdressed, But as well, as I said from the beginning, destiny. And I love to think that way. If it's your destiny to become a successful model, you will be, even if you dressed like we've seen in the past, model that arrived with a costume at a casting, okay? And somehow she became the it girl of the season. Against everything that we agents said, against of the black, okay? She arrived with a costume, a Halloween costume. And
was she someone from the fashion industry or Pikachu?
She made it, So who am I to say you are going to make it? You are not.
Yeah.
I don't have a crystal ball. Most important for me is to believe. And once I believe, I will do everything I can for that talent to succeed.
How do you deal with rejections? And how do you reject girls?
Very careful, because rejection just
that's why
not good, right? And because I know it's not good, I try the best way possible when I'm rejecting to make that person feel good about themselves, and try to help that person to find other options, you know. I do, I really do. Even make a phone call to a friend that works with another company to see if they can see their talent, because you need to try, and you know, sometimes
yeah, but that's your personality.
Yes.
What is the best day of your career and the worst day of your career?
The best day of my career is when I help my talent to achieve their goal. The worst day is when the goal is not achieved.
Do you take it personally sometimes?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, good.
Not anymore. In the past, I would suffer with you girls. It would be like, luckily, and I think has to do with my
age, experience.
Luckily, I would say, because I would suffer,
it's
but somehow I think because of psychology, I will
snap
very fast as well. It will not take me days, you know. But for example, you're an option for that show that we know is going to change your life, you know, or you are considering to opening that show, ends up that you're not opening, you know, whatever. Like, I would take really personal I will suffer with a girl, I will cry with a girl, but luckily I knew how to snap out of it like quickly. And today, quite honestly, I don't.
Oh, that's a
you
good
know,
thing,
I think it's maturity. Today, you know, it's gonna come. You know, now my job is to actually teach the talent to snap out of it fast and not take it for days. You know, because tomorrow is another day. Again, energy is very important to me. If you live in that negativity, you're not gonna achieve. Another thing that you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about is that model that she is perfection in terms of discipline, dedication. She does everything that you ask her to do, you know, but she's so desperate.
It's
not going to happen. I've seen, like, you girls as well.
Wow, yeah.
You know, the girl the hair is perfect, everything's perfect, she arrives on time, discipline, checked, check, but she wants so much, somehow doesn't happen. The day that you relax, and again, I'm not teaching girls to not have discipline, to not be responsible, it's not that. But somehow, in our business, when you relax a little bit, you know, how many cases we know of girls that were not giving shit, sorry my vocabulary, about it.
Yeah.
And they get it, right?
Yep.
And the one that is doing everything correctly just doesn't happen.
Yeah, many. I know, actually.
Me too.
Yeah, I think I know more girls who are not giving...
Me too. I can't even remember a model. Maybe I know one who dreamed to be a model and who was working her way, maybe. Yeah, just one I know.
I know one girl who was desperately working on it for years and never happened to her. But she was so persistent for like decade. And everything was... No one knew what is wrong with her.
I know.
Like, no one could point out.
It's the energy. Yeah. It's funny because I always believed in energy,
but I think
after
now,
the pandemic...
I think now we are all talking more about energy.
Yeah.
Back then, no one spoke about energy.
No. You're right, but I think pandemic helped, in my case for sure, and today I see everything and I related everything with me, with my life, with my body, energy.
Paulo, you said that that's the best feeling for you when your girls are achieving her goals. What about your goals? You did achieve your goal to become a booker.
Yes.
Is there any other you have now?
Yes. I have to say, as we age and we achieve...
We don't. Let's say we don't.
and we had achieved so many. There were moments in my life that I was like, do I still have the passion to do this? And I think that's why I entered the curve division, because
we have a challenge.
Yes. ambition, because it's important as well. And to be now with the curve division is giving me all what I needed to be again that Paulo that you girls met, full of passion, encouraging, and yeah, I'm very, very happy to be with the curve division.
Do you have something particular on your bucket list to achieve with the curve division, or just in general, you just want that feeling?
I want that feeling, but of course I have in my pocket. I want to bring to the curve division what I brought to the women's division, I want to see more curve girls walking the shows. I want to see, my girls today, the curve girls, like doing everything, that normal size model does.
That's a very, how to say, it's a hard work, because you have to make that happen out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, now it's starting. It's not like it never happened, but it's still not. It's innovation.
Yes,
it's innovation in the whole industry.
And it's I think that's what excites me, because to be the one that is going to be part of that change in the business, and having girls, different sizes walking for houses like, Chanel and Saint Laurent and Celine and Versace.
So how close we are to that?
Very close.
Very close. So very maybe close. Next season.
Yes, I hope so.
I hope so. And we're going to have some curve girls here talking to us from Paris Fashion Week to our podcast to tell us how Paulo...
Fingers crossed, my whole body is crossed, including my eyes, that I will be able to introduce you to a girl that, has somehow changed the business.
Pioneer.
And will become the next it girl being a curve.
And one more question about curve, girls in general. Is there a like when you're booking a girl, is there a difference like how curvy she is, or like how
like any dimensions which
or is that so,
it's a very much when with the curve is very much about sizes.
Exactly. So when you have a client is approaching you with
a specific size, and the sizes are 12, 14, 16, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2.
And then you pick your girls.
Yes, and then let's say the client requests a girl size 10. I will provide to the client who I have in my roster of models, they are size 10.
But what about shows?
The client also, which is the good thing about shows is that casting directors, they will see all the sizes.
Okay, so they will see all the sizes,
yes.
They will pick a girl, and then they will create...
And then is their clients, the designer, who will decide which size he needs for that particular outfit that he's creating.
But that process is opposite than process for
you girls, what they call normals. Yes,
they're not normal.
No, because you girls did not have the chance to have the different sizes. You guys had to fit on that outfit that was made on a body of a girl with that hips, with that. Remember?
Yes. But for curve is the other way. They're making it for her body.
Exactly. Or they making it not specifically for her, but for a person with that size. And I think that makes the difference.
Yeah, but it's kind of exclusive then.
Not really, because the creator is making an outfit size XYZ. What he needs to find is someone that he likes that has the measurements of the look that he made.
But that's harder. You have to find a gem.
Oh yeah, it is harder, but it's possible. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying.
And again, there is always going to be adjustments. There is always going to be fitting that you can adjust here and there. But I think it's not like you girls who had to fit hips 34, waist. You know what I'm saying? And how about you will go to when you went to a fitting, and that I'm sure happened to both of you, and you put in that skirt, and you know that skirt is not going. Horrible.
Yeah.
A curvy girl doesn't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? Because size is just a number. She just doesn't fit on that.
And
It's his job. If he wants me in the show, he's gonna have to change or find someone who fit this. It's
you
easier.
see how it's completely different perspective for the same job.
Yeah.
She's doing exactly the same job as we do, but to get her job is a different perspective, and she is already in like completely different state of
Yes, because she doesn't allow to feel guilty if she doesn't fit. Most important thing for a woman, for a model, is to feel comfortable on your own skin, on your own body. Accept your body, accept your curves, accept the way you are built. And once you accept you the way you are, everything else is better.
So this is one of the advices for
everyone. I
for
think.
everyone. Yeah, I was about to say not just for curved girls, but even for boys.
Yeah, it's acceptance. I think the most challenged thing as humans, and that's why we go to therapy, is because we need to know who we are.
But it's so hard for young girls to get.
Yes, but they are. If we, from a very early age, we encourage, we don't point for example, I always say that when the girl is not 5, let's say when the girl is short, she always gonna be, everything that she doesn't get is because she's short. When she's too tall, everything that she doesn't get is because she's too tall. And I have a perfect example. One of my successful models, Jacqueline Jablonski, and it's Milan Fashion Week, and there is a particular show that she does often, season after season after season after season, and that particular season she's not getting, and she took personally because it's a designer that she wears when she going to events, and why am I not doing? And I called the casting director that I have a very good a friend relationship with, and I was told that the reason that she was not getting it was because she was not super tall,
apparently.
All of a sudden.
And they were using at that show boots that were going really high,
for Vlada's legs.
And they need taller girls to wear those boots. I tell her exactly what I heard. I go to the show because I had another girl in the show, so I'm backstage. And the girl that opened the show with the boots is shorter than my girl. So what I think is that, first of all, I understand that you girls always would love to know the reason. There is no reason. They just don't want you at that particular season.
You don't fit the vibe or something,
And casting directors, they doing their job. They don't have time during the shows to explain to me, Paulo, why XYZ did not get it. So they just say it for us to hang up the phone.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And what they're going to say? They're going to say what everyone knows about that particular person. So if you are too short, it's going to be...
That's the reason.
Too high, the reason. If your hair is thin or the hair is too thin.
I had one of my seasons, I was blonder than before because agency thought that's the good way to go for that season, and I didn't book as many shows as before, and the agency told me, because you're blonder. It was agency's decision to go blonde.
I know.
And that was the reason. So I know what you're talking about, but do you really think that the look of girl is not, in this example, is not booking her, or it's the vibe of the show that she's not fitting? Because I have a feeling it more often is not a look. Vlada is too tall, too skinny, too short, or whatever. It's more that she doesn't fit with the rest of the girls, because sometimes.
But that will be properly, because there is a concept.
Yeah.
And Vlada just doesn't fit in that concept. I take it. But when it's a trend and you taking just the girls because the eat girl, you know what I'm saying? And there is no concept, doesn't make sense, because the lineup is like everywhere. You know, I go like, I don't know. I love actually a show that has a concept, you know, and we'll book Vlad or book Ines if you fit in that concept, if you are the beauty for that season, you know.
Yeah, that's why.
Your eyes, your lips, your nose, your hair, you know, if you fit, because there is also different types of beauty, you know. So if you like to be consistent, maybe you need to do an amazing job, the research job, to casting girls that look alike in a way. You know what I'm saying?
But nowadays, they don't really want everyone to look alike.
No,
right?
no. I don't know, because again, I think we need to follow the vision of the artist, you know, and if the artist, his vision is to put like his concept. That's why we need to be so careful nowadays with words that we use, you know, like inclusive, which we need to include everyone. But again, we cannot take personal, like for example, and I can speak like I am part black, okay? I'm from Brazil, you know. My father is the son of a black man with a white woman. So yes, I do have black in me, and I'm all about inclusive. But I think there is also like, sometimes in that particular show, you know, pink doesn't fall into it. Yellow, we cannot take so personal.
I was about to say, our business in general, fashion, we have like commercial, we have high fashion, we have this, we have sports, we have sexy. There is like so many options, but sometimes the trend, like I remember at some point the trend was Russian girls, Russian beauty.
Yes, I remember.
You know, and that's, and at the other time we had Brazilian curves, like girls tall and tiny, but with front and back. I don't know how to say it to be correct. So I think that we do have to understand that the artist has a vision, and it's nothing personal.
Exactly.
And you cannot dictate them.
Yeah, and we should not dictate.
Of course, and we cannot oblige, because I mean, it's also not real. You know what I'm saying? Again, look, I am an agent at the curve division, but I cannot oblige every designer to have a curve girl, because if that's not the vision for that particular season, it doesn't mean that the next season the vision will be different and he's going to use. You know, when we say inclusive, in my point of view, is that you cannot left out the possibility of someone who is a small person to walk in a show. You know what I'm saying? Or someone who has a deficient, you know, to walk in a show. Give the chance to everyone. But at the end of the day, let the artist pick who they want.
Exactly. I feel lately it's like really forced to be something. And I don't know, sometimes when I watch a show, I'm like, this is something that lost.
Yes, and it's like we say in Brazil, 8 or 80, right? It's like, for example, when the Black Lives Movement came to action, you know, and let's be real, we inclusively Africans much more than in the past. But then I had blonde girls not working at all.
Because of that.
You know, so I mean, it's not fair as well. You know what I'm saying? So fair would be just like color is just a color. And I hope one day we will live in a world that color
we will
is
not
just,
even talk about that.
Exactly.
We will see beauty.
Yes, because again, like for me, like I have prejudice is something that I don't have it, because it's so like I grew up like having everyone around. But at the end of the day, there is one thing called taste. You have a particular taste that, for example, I might like more red hair boys over blonde boys. I might like more black boys over Caucasian boys. It's a question of taste and what you like. But I will never not treat someone with respect because of the skin color, because of the hair type. You treat everyone with respect, but when it comes to you as desire, becoming a boyfriend, a girlfriend, you have the right to pick what you like. Because at the end of the day, we all humans have different tastes.
Yeah, but also now at the agency you have curve division, which is new, but it's also very inclusive. Like you have different skin color, different sizes.
Yes.
And you are, as an agent, now from very skinny tall girls working with
straight hair, right? And now luckily working with, in a world that hair texture is not specifically one, skin color is not specific one, body proportions in terms of like body sizes is not specific one. And that makes me very happy because we're working with beautiful people. And that's what matters. Personality matters.
What is inside of that?
Exactly. So when you have the beauty of the outside with the beauty from inside, which is personality, together you develop a person, and that person is the one that you're going to fall in love, in my case as an agent, or not. So if I fall in love, I believe, and I will do everything I can for them to achieve success.
So if particular girl has all of that, what else do you want from her in terms of habits?
I want discipline. I want dedication. I want responsibilities and maturity. You know, like this is not, we're not playing. This is a serious job. If you're not here to do this correctly, please go to school. I want just the talent to be responsible and to know and to give their 100% best for what she's doing to be her career, you know, the career that will be able of that human being to support the family, to be successful financially, as I say, to buy the apartment in New York City,
to be proud,
to be, you know, proud to be a mother who can, you know, afford in the world that we live today to give the best education to their kids. Because education is for me everything.
Where do you see yourself in 10, 15 years from now?
In 10, 15 years from now, I see myself, I would say, still in the business, but as a consultant, you know, not working Monday through Friday, you know, in Ibiza, because Ibiza is today my second home, and enjoying life, but as well with my eyes always looking to the next talent. I love scouting. I love to find the next one.
The next one. Is that your superpower?
It is, man. It is.
Seems like.
Yeah. One more thing that I want to ask before we close this down. So,
sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. I have to say, in 5 minutes, I have an auction.
Auction
that I'm auctioning.
Yeah, I would just want to finish now. Yeah.
Okay, so please.
Who's your favorite model? It doesn't have to be yours.
My favorite model, and with tears in my eyes, I say because she's no longer here with us, Stella Tennant. I loved Stella from the moment I met, and she has the insight that I'm talking about. She was a person that she met you today, and she will never forget who you were, and she would always approach you and ask you about you, your life, your family. And I just loved Stella very, very much, and I was very sad when she left us.
I agree. I met her and I agree with everything you said. I felt the same. We have, for the end, fun game.
Let's do it.
Very hard questions for you. Quick, no thinking.
Coffee or tea?
Sorry, what was the question?
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
New York or Paris?
Paris.
Sunrise or sundown?
Sunrise.
Giraffe or parrot?
Giraffe.
Book or movie?
Movie.
Black and white or color?
Color.
Cake or burger?
Cake.
Creative or risky?
Risky.
Fall or spring collection?
Spring collection.
Heels or sneakers?
Heels.
Hat or scarf?
Hat.
Fluffy or silky?
Silky.
Paris or London?
Paris.
Glossy or matte?
Matte.
Leather or lace?
Leather always.
Casting or fitting?
Fitting.
Good. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, sharing your story.
The pleasure was mine, absolutely
And
mine.
thank you to Max for being our best guest ever.
Paolo, it was such a pleasure to talk to you, and I would love to talk more and hear more stories. It was
Please,
so
the
inspiring.
pleasure was absolutely mine. It was very amazing to have you two here with me. It reminded me the old days
Yes.
where we were backstage, and let's be real, we had a wonderful time. We have only reasons to celebrate the friendship that we built, you know, the love that we built, that as I like to say, will stay forever. Because I believe in forever.
Yes.
Thank you, and you promised to us now in front of everyone watching, you're gonna share New Girls.
I will share. I will promise you. I will share the New Girls. I will do everything I can to make this podcast even more watchable and people to see.
Curvy girls are coming here thanks to Paulo to talk to us and share their stories.
For sure.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.